As America tries to get people to modify their behavior, things like wearing masks when we're in public, it's running into centuries of cultural tradition.
The U.S.'s diversity and individual liberty is a great advantage for us until it isn't in cases like this.
I think that the idea of I know better what I need to do that for me than other people know, and I'm more important than other people, and I can make decisions for myself. I think that's not uniquely American, but I think we load heavily on that.
If everyone were to wear a mask and socially distance at the very beginning of this pandemic for a month completely, we'd have gotten through it. But when the first person opts out, the whole thing seems to come down, crashing down.
The thing about the pandemic is that every failure gets amplified. Like, if 10% of the people don't pay taxes, we have 10% less taxes. But if 10% don't adhere to COVID instructions, it's not 10%. It can overwhelm the hospitals.
And this problem extends beyond wearing masks to a whole host of problems in our society, like texting while you're driving, for example.
If the risk is low, we tend to think the risk is non-existent to bad behaviors.
It's actually slightly worse than that. So take texting and driving as you suggested. Imagine you think the probability of texting and driving and something bad happen is 1%. And one day the phone buzzes and you text and drive and nothing bad happened. It's only 1%. What happened the next day? You say to yourself, maybe it's less than 1%. And then you do it again and again and again until, of course, you get into an accident. We kind of learn the wrong lesson every time.
Is it in human nature to simply care much more about myself than others?
I think we do get to care about others. And this is what is called social utility. And, we have this amazing thing called empathy, that we hear people's cry and we care, and we all do, right? But the problem is that a little bit like Joseph Stalin said, one death is a tragedy, 100,000 is statistic. And it's true about human psychology. When the tragedy is large and in lots of people, but they are far away from us and we don't see their faces, we don't see their tears, we don't feel. So we care about other people, but we care more about individuals. And as the magnitude of the tragedy increases, amazingly, we care less rather than more.
It becomes particularly difficult to get people to change their behavior when they see those who made the rules not following those rules themselves, as was the case in California recently when their governor was caught at a restaurant not socially distancing or wearing a mask.
Our sense of what's right and wrong, we don't get from the rule book. We get from what we see. And the people that we look up to have a disproportional effect. We pay much more attention to bad behavior than good behavior. Imagine that you're on the highway and 5 people are speeding. You notice the people who are speeding, you don't notice in the same way the people who are driving at the speed limit.
Beyond the scientific achievement of the vaccine, Dan Ariely says there is something each of us can do during the pandemic.
We need to find things that we can control. And maybe it's an exercise, and maybe it is a savings, or maybe it's changing something about our eating habits or sleep habits or something. But we need a sense of control. We're losing so much of it. We need to gain some of it back.